प्रातः स्मरामि हृदि संस्फुरदात्मतत्त्वं सच्चित्सुखं परमहंसगतिं तुरीयं यत्स्वप्नजागरसुषुप्तमवेति नित्यं तद्ब्रह्म निष्कलमहं न च भूतसङ्गः। I think we have covered up to verse number 4, I think. Verse number 4.
Yes, sir.
Now, we start with verse number 5. Verse number 5 reads, Ajnana kalusham jivam jnanabhyasad vinirmalam kritva jnanam swayam nashyet jalam katakarenuvat. Ajnana kalusham jivam jnanabhyasad vinirmalam kritva jnanam swayam nashyet jalam katakarenuvat. Verse number 5. The practice of knowledge thoroughly purifies the ignorance-stained individual, and the knowledge itself disappears as kataka powder in water. The practice of knowledge thoroughly purifies the ignorance-stained individual, and the knowledge itself disappears as kataka powder in water. Another example that he gives in this verse is the kataka nut powder. Before we go into the verse, the example, kataka nut powder. The kataka nut powder is what they use long back to purify water. The kataka powder is used to purify water long back, where how to purify the drinking water so that it will become what do you call it nowadays? Potable. I don't know, whatever word they use nowadays, drinkable, potable, whatever. Kataka powder is used. Now, what is that kataka powder? Water has a lot of impurities because they collect water from, they used to collect water from the river and the pond and the lake. So, and it has a lot of impurities. Now, what they do to purify that? They have this, they found this technique. They use the kataka nut. They powder the kataka nut, and that powder is sprinkled on the top of the water. They sprinkle it on top of the water. Because of the nature of that nut, it forms like a film. It forms like a film on the surface of the water. The film attracts the first layer of dirt. The film attracts the first layer of dirt, and the dirt gets stuck to the film. Because of the dirt that has got stuck to the film, by the gravity, what happens? It goes little bit down. When it goes little bit down, the dirt at that layer gets attracted. The film becomes more heavier, and it goes further down, further down, further down, further down. A time comes where it reaches the bottom of the surface of the pot with all the impurities stuck to it, and the potable water is above the film. This is how water is purified. Shankaracharya is using this example, Kataka nut powder, to explain how knowledge works. One of the very good example, this is Kataka nut powder. Two things the Kataka powder does. First is, the water is dirty itself. The water is dirty. On top of the dirty water, another dirt is sprinkled, which is Kataka nut. As it is, the water is dirty. On top of it, this is sprinkled. Now, the uniqueness of the Kataka nut powder is, as it attracts all the dirt, it also settles down. You need not bring something else to purify the Kataka nut. As it takes care of all the impurities, it settles down by itself. This is the purification process of the Kataka nut powder. Now we will see the similarity and why he is using this example. Why this example is being used here. First thing he says is Jnana Abhyasa. Ajnana Kalusham Jeevam Jnana Abhyasat Nirmalam. This Jiva, this individual, by now you should be used to this word Jiva. By now you should have been comfortable using this word from the, you should be comfortable using the word Jiva. Jiva means that which takes embodiment one after the other is Jiva. Jiva is that which takes embodiment one after the other is called as Jiva. Right now the Jiva is in this respect, in this whatever embodiment you all have. Right now, this is the respective embodiment the Jiva has taken. So he is not going to talk about Jiva because it is implied that by now you are familiar with the word and the idea of Jiva. What is it? The Jiva that takes Punarjanma. Jiva is that which enters into an embodiment, stays in that embodiment for a while and leaves that embodiment and moves into another embodiment. This is what is called as Jiva. If this concept is too difficult for you to digest, you can take Jiva to be this specific individual that you are now. You can take that also. If you find the concept of Jiva a bit difficult to digest, don't worry about it. Take Jiva as this specific individual. This Jiva, what is the nature of this Jiva? The nature of this Jiva is Ajnana Kalusham. The nature of this Jiva is Ajnana Kalusham. Ajnana Kalusham means ignorance stained. Covered by ignorance. Stained by ignorance. This Jiva is stained by ignorance. And how do you get rid of it? Jnana Abhyasam thoroughly purifies the stain. So, first thing is he says, you are the Jiva. The second thing that he is saying is, the Jiva is stained by ignorance. And that ignorance, knowledge, thoroughly purifies. And what happens? Knowledge also disappears. It's not that everything else goes and the knowledge of the and this knowledge remains. He says this and the knowledge itself disappears as Kataka nut powder in water. A very powerful thought. What is this Jnana Abhyasa? Ignorance stained, we have already seen. Ignorance stained, we have already seen. What is this Jnana Abhyasa? Jnana Abhyasa is the practice of knowledge. How to practice this knowledge? How to practice this knowledge? We want to practice. How to practice? What is practicing this knowledge means? Is giving Jnana Abhyasa. And later on, in the same Atma Bodha, verses 31 to 36, he is going to give specific practices of specific individual 6 verses, how to practice. And don't worry, don't get very excited about him giving techniques for practice. But at least now you don't say anything that is practical. At least Shankaracharya is saying that is very, at least Shankaracharya is very compassionate to us. And he is saying something which is very, very practical. What is practice of knowledge? The practice of knowledge is negation and assertion. The practice of knowledge is of 2. In verses 31 to 36, he is going to give you techniques of how to do this. But what is abhyasa? Practice. Jnana abhyasa, practice of knowledge. What is practicing knowledge means? Practicing knowledge means negation and assertion. Negate the unreal and assert the real. This is Jnana Abhyas. We think he is going to give techniques of how to practice this knowledge, how to handle the family, how to handle the job pressure, how to handle business loss, so that we can practice this knowledge. We think practice of knowledge means all that. No. Shankaracharya doesn't know that practice of knowledge. He knows only one practice. What does practice of knowledge means? Practice of knowledge means asserting the real and negating the unreal. In fact, negation and assertion. Negation is the technique, what the Upanishad calls as neti. Negation is the technique of, it's known as neti. Neti means na iti, not this, not this, not this. Whatsoever you encounter, whatsoever you experience, you keep saying, not this, not this, not this. On what basis you can say not this, not this, not this? That is why you have to remember, when you say, how do you say not this? 3 words you have to use. We have seen it in very many contexts. Every time you have to remember all this. The 3 cardinal words of Vedanta, the 3 fundamental words, the 3 words upon which the entire Vedanta is resting. What are those 3 words? Sat, Asat, Mithya. These are the 3 words. Whenever we talk about Jnana Abhyas, whenever we talk about Jnana Abhyas, and whenever we talk about negation and assertion, what is it? You should remember these 3. You should be able to remember these 3. The Sat, the Asat, and Mithya. Verse number 16, chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita. Nasato vidyate bhavaha, nabhavo vidyate sataha, ubayorapi drishtontaha, tvanayos tattva darshibihi. Nasato vidyate bhavaha, nabhavo vidyate sataha, ubayorapi drishtontaha, tvanayos tattva darshibihi. Verse number 16, chapter 2. The wise one, tattva darshibihi, knows this, he says. Tattva darshibihi means those who have seen, those who have understood the essence, those who knows the tattva, those who knows this knowledge. What do they practice? What do they know? They know these 3. What are the 3? Constantly practicing these 3, constantly remembering these 3, constantly applying these 3 in all your experiences of life is Jnana Abhyas. Again I repeat, knowing these 3, remembering these 3, understanding these 3, and constantly applying these three in all your experiences of life is jnana abhyas. In the Select English Poems book, it is made much simpler by saying even this shall pass away. The same idea is made much simpler by the statement even this shall pass away. What is it? This practice, this constant inquiry. What is this constant inquiry? Is it Sat, or is it Asat, or is it Mithya? Sat means that which is Swayam existence. That is Sat. It exists all by itself. The existence which is not bound by time is Sat. The existence which is not bound by time is Sat. Number two, the existence that is not bound by any causation is Sat. That which doesn't have, that which doesn't need any particular form or space to exist is Sat. This is Sat. This is the definition of Sat. And then there is something called Asat. What does Asat means? Asat means that which is imaginary but has no. Asat is that which is imaginary but has no reality to it. That is Asat. Example of Asat. The Upanishads gives the example of Asat is, at least these examples you should be knowing by now. What is these examples? The sky flower, the man's horn, the sky flower. All this is the son of the barren woman. These are the examples that is given in the Upanishads to explain what is Asat. Now in the modern day, you can understand Asat means Superman, Spider-Man. They are all Asat. At least that much you understand, no? Never in your, even when you are going through the biggest crisis in your life, greatest crisis in your life, not even one thought will go where இப்போ Superman வந்து நம்மளை காப்பாத்தணும் எப்படி இருக்கும்? Not even one thought will go like that, no? Even if one thought goes like that, don't worry. We are still in childhood. Not that thought should not go. If it goes, we are still in the age of 3 and 4 and 5 only. Not outgrown that age. So one extreme of it is Sat. The other extreme of it is Asat. Now you have experiences. This is Jnana Abhyas. I'm explaining how to do this Jnana Abhyas. Now you have experiences of life. You have experiences of life from birth to death. You have series of experiences. That is why life is defined as Anubhava Dhara. Anubhava means experience. Dhara means flow. So life equals the flow of experiences. All these experiences, you need to ask yourself this question: is it Sat, or is it Asat, or is it Mithya? I explained Sat, I explained Asat. What is Mithya? Mithya means that which is temporary. That the existence that is bound by time, space, and causation is Mithya. The existence that is bound by time, space, and causation is Mithya. Bound by time means what? It has a beginning and it will, it has a beginning and it has an end. Yeah. Vedanta class, Atmabodha class is a mithya. Why Atmabodha class is a mithya? Because it starts at a particular time and it is going to, even though it may not end at the stipulated time, sometimes once it will end, no, at least. Yeah. At least it will end. Yeah. And the title mudikilana kuda edo or title it will come to an end. So it is mithya. Why? Because it has a beginning and it has an end. It is bound by time. It is bound by causation because it came in for a cause. Something caused it. What caused this classroom? What caused this classroom? Yeah. Why this few of us get together, come together? A cause. So it is bound by time. It has a cause for it to come into existence. Once that is sufficiently catered to, what happens? Once it is sufficiently catered to, what happens? Actually, sufficiently catering la vanda. Class nadakumbode it gets distracted all over the place. Yeah. Why only sufficiently satisfied? Assuming that full attention and concentration is here and sufficiently satisfied, that cause is the cause for which it started is over, and then what happens to it? It ends. And also bound by space. What is bound by space means? As you are, see, adha in the, yeah, deep போயினே இருந்ததுனாக்கா இன்னும் கொஞ்ச நாள்ல people will say zoom class வச்சுக்கலாம் சார், நீங்க வரவே வராதீங்க இல்லையா, zoom class வச்சுக்கலாம். ஏன் அப்படின்னா just வீடியோ மட்டும் switch off பண்ணி I can take a walk around இல்லையா, நீங்க நேரா உட்கார்ந்து இருந்தா it's a burden actually. இல்லையா, நேரா உட்கார்ந்து it's a burden and a pain. ஏன்னா அப்படியே உட்கார்ந்து இருக்கணும் இல்லையா, we have to keep listening to you. Out of courtesy sake we can't get up and do anything இல்லையா. ஒரு காஃபி குடிக்கணும்னா கூட 8:30க்கு கொண்டு வந்துருமான்னு சொல்லிட்டு வீடியோ ஆஃப் பண்ணிட்டு காஃபி குடிச்சிட்டு திருப்பி வீடியோ ஆன் பண்ண முடியாது. எவ்வளவு ப்ராப்ளம் இருக்கு இல்லையா. So much of difficulties is there in the real thing because bound by space. That is what is bound by space means. What is bound by space means? You can't be at many places at the same time. You can be only in one place at a time, and also you want to be at many places doing many things at the same time. Imagine one part of your body can go for a morning walk, another part of your body can sit with your children, another part of the body can do the office work, and another part of the body can listen to Vedanta class also. Na? You are not bound by a form. But then what happens is you are bound by a space. You are bound by the time. You are bound by the causation. You are bound by the space. All your experiences have these three. All your experiences has these three, and anything that is bound by these three is called mithya. Anything bound by these three is called mithya. புரிஞ்சுக்கணும் அப்படின்னா 9:45க்கு இதே Zoom meeting போட்டு பாஸ்வேர்ட் எல்லாம் போட்டு பாருங்க. What will they say? I don't know what it will say. What it will say? I don't know what it will say.
Say the meeting is not started.
Meeting is not started nu solluma. Okay. Yeah. Meeting is not started. It is mithya. Are you able to follow? So Sat and Asat and Mithya are the three fundamental way in which all experiences can be understood. What is Jnana Abhyas here? Practice of knowledge means The jnana abhyas, practice of knowledge, means the process of negation and assertion. The process of negation and assertion, which is stage number 1 of jnana abhyasa. Stage number 2 of jnana abhyasa is dhyana, meditation, then self-realization. Now, I am not discussing the second part of the jnana abhyas. I am discussing a lot about the first part of the jnana abhyas. So it has two parts. One is the process of negation and assertion as stage number 1. Then single pointed meditation as stage number 2, self-realization. When self-realization happens, what happens to all the previous thing? As Kataka nut powder goes down, taking all the impurities, this also disappears, and what will remain is the pure self, just as what remains is the pure water. I am taking up the more relevant part of the jnana abhyasa and elaborating it. Because the elaboration is always dependent upon the adhikari. The elaboration is always dependent upon who is listening. Supposing if there is a Nachiketas listening, first of all, Nachiketas will not come and sit in my session. First of all, he will laugh at me. He will say, "You don't know what you are talking." He will laugh at me. Why will he come and sit in this session? First of all, a person like of that caliber comes in. To him, negation assertion will not be spoken a lot. To him, the single pointedness and the single pointed thing would be spoken in detail a lot. So, but here we are discussing both are there, stage 1 and stage 2 of jnana abhyasa. Now we are in the prior stage. We are in the prior stage of Shravana here. We are in the prior stage of Shravana. What is Shravana? We have to listen a lot. We have to read a lot. We have to listen a lot, read a lot, and more you listen, more doubts, more samshaya, doubts keeps coming, and you need to clarify those doubts, and more of your doubts gets clarified. You develop this intellectual conviction, and then you would be able to practice, and then we would be able to practice jnana abhyasa, and then only we will be able to practice this negation and assertion. Now, coming back to the story of what is negation and assertion, examining all your experiences of life. It may be good experience, it may be a bitter, bad, negative experience, doesn't matter, positive, negative, whatsoever your experiences are, you examine those experiences with this constantly. A constant practice means you can't straight away get into constant practice. You can start with some time first, and then slowly only you can gradually increase your time. You can't straight away practice that. That is also is very obvious, because any practice has to be started with any practice. Any practice starts step by step. You can't straight away jump into this abhyas 24/7. The very important aspect of practice is that there are these 3 experiences which is possible. Of these 3 experiences, where is my experience fitting in? This is jnana abhyas. These are the 3 experiences that is happening. As a jiva, I keep asking, where does this experience of mine fit in? Does it fit under Sat? Does it fit under Asat? Or does it fit under Mithya? If it is fitting under Asatna, where do you belong to? If your experiences are fitting under Asatna, where do you belong to? Yeah. Where do you belong to? Now, adugada a special medicine, special technique, special place. Yeah. If your experiences are lot of asat is in your experiences, Abdina, you need a special, yeah, you need a special place. Yeah, a special place, a special doctor, maybe chained also sometimes, because when that asat becomes too much, you have to be, yeah, changlila gattipotu, you have to be, or you have to be continuously dosed off so that you don't even wake up. That is experiences of asat. Now, we all don't have those experiences like that. Every now and then we may have a few experiences like that, but predominantly our experiences don't fit under the category of asat. Neither does it fit under the category of sat. Where does it fit under? It fits under the category of mithya. So, what is jnana abhyasa? Negation means this is mithya, is negation. Are you able to follow? Understanding your experiences as mithya and saying what I am experiencing now is mithya, is negation. Why it is called as negation is because you have taken these experiences to be sat. You have taken these experiences to be permanent and real. Vedanta comes and says it is temporary. That is where mithya means a temporary reality. Imagination is different from mithya. Imagination is different from mithya. Mithya means a temporary reality. What is the temporary reality? It has a time frame. It exists in a time frame. Is mithya. So jnana abhyasa means taking up your experiences and saying this is, taking up your experiences and saying this is mithya, is negation. What is assertion? But I don't know sat, sir. How can I assert the sat? The assertion of sat is done by the process of inference. By the logic, reason and analytical, by the technique of the inferential process, you assert the sat. So, you assert the sat. So asat, mithya is what you directly negate. Mithya is that which you directly negate because it is pratyaksha experience for you. It is direct. It's a direct experience. Now this sat is, you assert the sat by the process of inference. And don't worry, Vedanta gives a lot of inferential methods. In fact, Vedanta predominantly is the Anumana Shastra, meaning lot of inferences. In Atma Bodha, what he has done, the inferences and Upamana, the Anumana and Upamana he has combined. Atma Bodha is a very good combination of these two methods of knowing, Upamana and Anumana. So Vedanta is predominantly an inferential science. Sat is asserted by the methodology of Sat is asserted by using the process of knowledge called inference. Mithya is negated by the process of direct. because it is a direct experience. When you are doing these two, it is called jnana. When you are doing these two, it is called jnana abhyasa. This is called practicing. How to practice knowledge of Vedanta? Now you need to know how to negate, and you need to know how to assert. When you know how to negate and when you know how to assert, you would be able to practice. But what happens to this knowledge? The doubt that comes to a very advanced seeker is, what happens to the knowledge? Okay, but this knowledge will be there, no. For which he says, no, no, no. Knowledge also disappears. Now, in the modern day context, Kataka nut powder, the concept is the same. The Upanishad calls it as Swapna Simhavat. The Upanishad calls it as Swapna Simhavat, like a dream lion, this knowledge. Atmabodha, Shankaracharya is giving another example called Kataka nut powder. Swapna Simhavat, Kataka nut powder, a bit difficult to comprehend. Modern day, extraordinary example that Swamiji brings in is the pole vault. He brings in that example of the pole vault. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Concept is the same. You all understand the game pole vaulting, no? Yeah. A difference between high jump and pole vault. Clear? There is a difference between the high jump and pole vault. High jump na abde guichi dandi poidala. You can't do that because you can't owl a height. You can't cross over. So you need a pole. You need a pole to get to that height. That the pole that takes you to that height is Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, Sadhana Chatushtaya, that Sadhana Chatushtaya, that Sampath and that Dhyana, the meditation, and all that is the pole that takes you to that height. After reaching that height, the pole vaulter leaves the pole and goes on to the other side. Knowledge first you have to take the knowledge, and another stage you have to leave the knowledge also. But you need not worry about leaving the knowledge. When you go to that height, it drops off by itself. What is important here is to understand the methodology of jnana abhyasa. Kataka nut powder says, for an advanced seeker who's having this doubt of, what is the doubt that he has? This is the technical aspect of knowledge. All that is part of the world is ignorance. If all that is part of this world is ignorance, means Vedanta is also part of this world. It means that also has to be part of ignorance only. Upon self-realization, ignorance is gone completely, means this knowledge also has to disappear. Shankaracharya says, yes, it would disappear like Kataka nut. It would disappear like it takes away everything and it dissolves by itself. Swapna Simhavat, like the dream lion. The dream lion wakes you up, and when it wakes you up, the lion dissolves also. The dream lion wakes you up from the dream. Even though it is the dream lion that woke you up from the dream, when you wake up, the dream lion also gets dissolved. Like this, this Vedantic knowledge, though it gives you all this knowledge, it is also a part of the ignorance only. And then upon self-realization, all this disappears, including this. And what remains? See, when we say including this, what we mean by Vedantic knowledge here is the words, the slokas. The words, the slokas, the examples, the logic, the reason is what we mean as knowledge here. Not the spirit of it. The spirit of it remains but this goes away. When we say this knowledge also goes away, it's not that you will forget the Bhagavad Gita verse. It's not that you will forget the Upanishadic verse. It's not that. What it means is you are no more asserting it through inference. Carefully follow. You are no more asserting it through inference. It becomes your anubhava. You say, Aham Brahma Asmi. Now, what are you asserting? What are you asserting and what are you negating? In ignorance, what do you assert? In ignorance, you assert Aham Jiva Asmi. I am this individual is what you assert when you are in ignorance. When you are asserting that you are this Jiva, what are you automatically negating by default? By default, you negate the real. When you are seeing the unreal, when you are asserting the unreal, the real is negated. So in the state of realization, what do you do? In the state of realization, what do you do? It is not an inference. It is a direct experience. See, even here, for want of word, for want of terminology, for the limitation of the vocabulary and words and terminology, we are using the word experience. It cannot be called as an experience also, because all experiences implies duality. Experience implies duality because there has to be a subject and an object. Then only experience is possible. Here we have to use the word experience and rather we are using. But what you have to understand here is the difference between jnana abhyasa and self-realization. What is the difference between jnana abhyasa and self-realization? In jnana abhyasa, you are negating the pratyaksha and inferring the real. Please understand. That is why most of the people say, sir, mechanically I have to say, I am Brahman, I am Brahman, I am Brahman. It is very mechanical. No, sir. How can we say that? How can we repeat it mechanically? It means that person has not understood that the Sat is asserted by the process of inference. How Sat is asserted by the process of inference? As and when the context requires, we will give various methods of doing it. In this context, remember, all that is changing, all that has a form, all that form that is continuously changing must come from that which is formless and shapeless. The formless, shapeless clay gives to a form of a pot. So inference is what? The very fact that there is something that is temporary means you infer that there is a reality behind it. You have to stretch your not stretch. You have to increase your penetrating capacity to understand this. The moment you see something as changing, the moment you see something coming into existence and going back, it means something has to be there at the background. This is the method of asserting the real by the process of inference. Are you able to follow? Again, I repeat. The formless clay gives rise to the form clay. The moment you see a form and that form is changing, it means what? There has to be something at the background which is supporting it. And that which is supporting at the background, we will not talk about it. Why we will not talk about it? Because it is implied. Fissures. Whenever we talk about fissures, what is implied? The medium water is implied. For fishes can't live apart from the water. Whenever we talk about fissures, what is that which is implied here? What is it that you understand at the background? The water. Another way of looking at it. Whenever you see anything that is constantly changing, there has to be something that is supporting it. If that supporting factor isn't there, this cannot happen. And that supporting factor cannot be, number one, there is a supporting factor. Number two, I don't have the required instrument to experience that supporting factor. Is the inference. Number one is there is the supporting factor. Number two is the instruments that I have is limited to the instruments that I have is limited to experience that. The instruments that I have is limited to experience the formless, shapeless, all-pervading entity. Inference. The pot is dependent upon the clay. The clay is not dependent upon the pot. So mithya means dependent existence. It borrows the support from something else is mithya, dependent existence. What is dependent existence? The pot is dependent upon the clay, and the clay is not dependent upon the pot for its existence. When the pot is destroyed, the clay is not destroyed. When the pot is destroyed, the clay is not destroyed. Number three, the pot can never take a break from the clay. The pot cannot take a break from the clay. The pot cannot tell the clay, go away from me for a while. Leave me alone for a while. Why are you constantly on me all the time? The clay says, Naam poyachina. If I go, what will happen to you? If I go, you also go. If I go, you also go. Okay. So mithya means dependent existence. Sat means that which exists all by itself. So you do this vicharam constantly, which is what he calls as jnana abhyas. By this practice of jnana abhyas, you evolve. Another way of assertion. Another way of assertion is this. Remember this example. உபமானம் சொல்றோம். Another way of assertion. The lady is wearing very many ornaments and walking out. She is having that. Yeah, inga onu you can keep, no? Inga onu inga இப்படி ஒன்னு தொங்கும் இல்லையா, காதுல ரெண்டு இல்லையா, மூக்குல ஐப்ரோஸ்ல கூட வச்சுக்கலாம் இல்லையா. Okay, you can keep here, you can keep here, bangles, the necklace, that waist thing, the food, எல்லாம். When a thief sees that, what does he see? What does he see? When a thief sees this, what does he see? What does he see? Gold. He is only interested in the gold. He is not interested in the particular name and form of the earring or the nose ring or the bangle. He is not interested in that particular name and form. But what is he interested in? You can't say what is he interested in. What does he see? He sees only the gold. இது ஞான அபியாஸ். அப்படியா சார், அப்படின்னா செயின் ஸ்நாச்சிங் பிராக்டிஸ் பண்ணலாமா கொஞ்ச நாளைக்கு? டோன்ட் ஆஸ்க். இல்லையா, இப்ப எல்லாம் அங்கங்க ஒரு வீட்டு வாசல்லையும் they have அது என்னது, வாட் இஸ் இட் கால்ட், ஒரு வீட்டு வாசல்லையும் கேமரா வச்சிருக்கிறாங்க இப்போ. and you will be caught also. CCTV. CCTV. You will get caught in that. So what is jnana abhyas? The clay and the pot, the thief seeing gold, idella upamana. The inference for assertion is a temporary, a form that is coming and going, has to be supported by something at the background, which is what is known as the moolam, the fundamental material. The fundamental material, the moolam of everything. What is the moolam of everything? What is the fundamental of everything? Because the problem, what we think is, which is correct, if you go to the fundamental, if you go to the moolam, down the line you can solve everything, no? That is why we say, what is the go to the source? What is the source of the problem? Identify the source of the problem. What is the source of the problem? Vedanta is saying very clearly, the source of the problem is, what is the source of the problem? Yeah, at least now you should say it. What is the source of the problem? The source of the problem is ignorance. But you don't see ignorance as a problem as yet. You still see, we have not yet come to the level of seeing ignorance as the problem as yet. We are still seeing what as the problem? We are still seeing the body, the environment, the situation, COVID-19. Yeah, COVID-19 டெஸ்ட் பண்ணிட்டு வந்தா அதுல வேற என்னமோ அந்த டெஸ்ட் ரிப்போர்ட்ல வேற என்னமோ சொல்றான், SARS COVID-19, அது என்னலாமோ ஒரு பேர் போடுறானா. I asked that fellow, இது என்னப்பா COVID-19 டெஸ்ட்? I didn't go for COVID test in அந்த testing I didn't yet go, but I saw quite a few reports. It doesn't say COVID-19, it says something else. Then I asked, கரெக்டா தானே பண்ணா, ஏமாத்திட்டானா உன்ன? வேற ஏதோ டெஸ்ட் பண்ணி COVID-19 டெஸ்ட் ரிசல்ட் கொடுத்துட்டானா? இல்ல சார், 2 வாரத்துக்கு ஒரு வாட்டி சேஞ்ச் ஆயினே இருக்குது அது. So we don't know what. So if we can go to the moolam of it, if we can go to the source of it, down the line all the problems can be sorted out. Therefore we always wanted to know what is the source, what is the moolam. The source, the fundamental source is Brahman. The fundamental source of everything is Brahman, and not knowing this fundamental source is ignorance. What is jnana abhyasa, negation and assertion means? Jnana abhyasa, negation and assertion means once you understand this, what it means is you are gaining this, you are getting more and more established in this knowledge. You are gaining more and more of this knowledge. You are getting more and more established in this knowledge. This is called Jnana Abhyas, the process of negation and assertion. Remember, we will refer to this again in verse 31 and 36. Between verses 31 to 36, not 31 and 36, 31 to 36, the process of Jnana Abhyasa, negation and assertion. The classic Upanishadic style of negation and assertion is I am Atma Brahma. I am Atma Brahma. I am Atma Brahma. I am not the body, I am the self. I am not the mind, I am the self. I am not the intellect, I am the self. I am not the jiva, I am the self. This is the classic Upanishadic style of negation and assertion. I am Atma Brahma. Not the English I am, the Sanskrit I am. I am Atma Brahma. I am Atma Brahma. I am Atma Brahma means this Atman is Brahman. This Atman is Brahman. This Atman is Brahman. When you keep doing this, at some point of time, this is also called as impurity. Why this is also called as impurity? Which Kataka nut powder dissolves. All this is still happening through the medium of effort and thought. Purida? Even this I am Atma Brahma and all that is also happening through the medium of effort and thought. It is an effort and it is part of the thought process only. That also stops. You need not worry about it. That also stops because vrittis, the thoughts are all part of ajnanam, ignorance. Therefore, this I am Atma Brahma also, which is part of the thought, dissolves by itself, like Kataka nut powder. Now, we read the verse again. Yeah, is it okay till now? Yeah, now we read the verse. Ajnana kalusham jivam jnana bhyasa dvinirmalam kritva jnanam swayam nashyet jalam katakarenuvat. Kritva jnanam swayam nashyet jalam katakarenuvat. The practice of knowledge thoroughly purifies the ignorance stained individual. The ignorance stained individual. Fundamentally, you are not ignorant. It is a stain that has come on you that can be removed. Ignorance stained. This is the beauty of the whole Vedanta. It is not that you are fundamentally ignorant. It is a stain that has come, which can be removed. Where you should remove, don't remove it outside. As the Vedanta, process of negation and assertion. The example that Swamiji gives is, you stand in front of the mirror and you see a dark patch on your face, you don't wipe the mirror. You stand in front of the mirror and you see a dark patch, you don't wipe the mirror. You wipe the face, because the stain is here. So you see it there, but you understand it here, he says. Very beautiful. You see it there and you understand it here. This is the ignorance stained individual, and the knowledge of self disappears. Here what he means by knowledge is the process of thoughts. See, all that we are interacting here is through the medium of thoughts, no? So this also disappears. Even though it is a medium of thoughts, we are talking about Brahman and all that, still it is part of ignorance only, because what Brahman is, the words cannot convey. Yata vacho nivartante aprapya manasasaha. This is the Upanishad declaration. In the Gita also is Yata vacho nivartante aprapya manasasara. Where words cannot reach. Mind cannot reach. Why words and mind cannot reach? Because even moment they reach there, in the Kenopanishad he says that the moment they reach there, they see Brahman there already. They had a running race. Kenopanishad gives a story, and the story is more complicated than the Upanishad. Huh? That's why story is meant to make it simpler. That's one of the Puranic stories. The Upanishad examples makes it that much more complicated for material to think. So they had a running race. So referee, who was the referee? Brahman was the referee. They blew the whistle. Brahman blew the whistle as it were, and they all started running. When they reached the destination, to their horror, they saw referee have reached that before them. It means yata vacho nivartante aprapyante. They use very many methods to explain the pure knowledge is that which cannot be explained through the medium of these words, these thoughts. But it helps to a point, like the pole vault. If it can't be explained, then 7:45 ki camera on பண்ணிட்டு அப்படியே சைலண்டா உட்கார்ந்திருக்கலாமே இல்லையா? It helps you, these knowledge helps you to get to that point, and then you understand what yata vacho nivartante aprapya manasasaha. It is anirvachaniya. So many words, so many extraordinary words the knowledge gives, the Vedanta gives. Ignorance stained individual. Stain means which is not intrinsically yours, but you have acquired because of wrong exposure. Remember the example of brasso. The vessel is tarnished. You know, the we have stainless steel, no? And it will not get stainless steel, it will not get tarnished. Before that, everything used to get tarnished. You keep a copper vessel, it gets tarnished. You keep a silver, it gets tarnished. So every day or twice a day, it has to be constantly cleaned. And we are tired of methods, sir. Technically, everything has to be cleaned, and after that cleaning is not required at all. Is there a technique like that? Stainless steel. Yeah. Copper vessel gets oxidized, and then you bring in brasso, which is another dirt to clean it. Remember the brasso technique example? He says, Katakanut powder and the kalathula, ipo on the brasso. You can use this thing. It is stained. Stained means the shine is covered. Remember this. Stained means the shine is covered. So what you do? You bring in another dirt to remove this dirt. When you are bringing in another dirt, you should know how to bring in another dirt. What is that another dirt? That another dirt that you bring in must not add up to the existing dirt. The another dirt that you bring in must remove that existing dirt, and this also must go away. Like using a thorn to remove a thorn. You bring in a thorn, that thorn is removed. But if this thorn is stuck, now what would you do? That is catch-22 situation. No? So permanently you will be stuck with one thorn. Vedanta comes and says, ignorance stained individual. Beautiful it is. Ignorance stained individual. By the process of jnana abhyasa, you get thoroughly purified, and don't worry, this thoughts, which is this Vedantic knowledge in the form of words and thoughts, which is also part of the ignorance, also gets also gets disappeared. Ithoda, the important topic of the first topic is over. அடுத்த வருஷத்துல இருந்து கொஞ்சம் சீக்கிரம் போக ஆரம்பிச்சிடலாம். ஏன்னா அதுல வந்து more of not much of this philosophy like this to explain. அதுல எல்லாம் கொஞ்சம் we can கொஞ்சம் சீக்கிரம் போகலாம். I go like a good strain only. அதுல கூட I will go like a good strain only even in that. But comparatively it is these 5 verses is the formula. What is the formula? Knowledge is the cure for ignorance and this knowledge disappears. அதுதான் இந்த 5 வருஷம் சம்மரைஸ் பண்ணணும்னா என்ன சொல்றது? Ignorance is an acquired dirt and this acquired dirt will be purified with another dirt, and in that process the acquired dirt gets purified along with the dirt that you are using to clean it. இத ஒரே ஸ்டேட்மெண்டா சொல்லிருக்கலாம் சார். இதுக்கு 1.5 மாசமா 6 கிளாஸ் 8 கிளாஸ் யூ ஹேவ். அது பாஸ்கர் சாஸ்திரி இன்னைக்கு வீடியோ லிங்க் அனுப்பும் போது எனக்கு தெரியும் எவ்வளவு கிளாஸ் we have taken to explain this. இது ஒரே ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட்ல சொல்லிட்டு போயிருந்தாலும் இந்நேரம் ஆத்மபோதம் முடிச்சிட்டு we could have gone to another text. All the 5 verses is summarized in this form. All the 5 verses that we have studied is summarized in this form. Why? Because it is ignorance is the cause and knowledge which is also of the same material as ignorance. What is of the same material as ignorance? Words. This knowledge also in the form of words which is also of the same material of this ignorance dissolves ultimately. So it's not that all the dirt goes and this stays put. That is why we say Vedanta is objective to everything external and objective to its own self. The objectivity of, that's why you gain this Vedantic knowledge, you will become extremely objective like this Vedantic knowledge itself. What is objectivity of Vedantic knowledge? It is objective to everything and it is objective to itself. Therefore, first topic is over. What is the first topic? We saw the first topic says knowledge of self alone liberates. Very important topic. Knowledge of self alone liberates. Sir, இதுதான் சரிங்க எல்லா டாபிக்கும் சொல்லினே இருக்கேன். Don't worry. அடுத்த டாபிக் ஆரம்பிக்கும் போது we will say this is very important. This is very important topic for that also. Yeah. Beautiful topic. The next one. How the material equipments superimpose. How this dirt covers. Superimposition. Ignorance is a superimposition. Ignorance is not real. Ignorance is superimposition. This is conclusion of verse number 5 and also concluding verse number. Topic and verse is concluded. Next week we move on to verse number 6. Before we conclude for today, I take up a few clarifications that is there. Sat, not bound, Mohan is saying. Sat means not bound by causation. But in Mithya, we are saying bound by causation. Mithya means you are bound by causation. Mithya means you are bound by causation. What is the causation? 7:45 to 9, sir, class. I have given of the time that I have dedicated what 7:45 to 9 for Vedanta, sir. அதுக்கு அப்புறமா கிளாரிஃபிகேஷன் நீங்க எடுத்துக்கோங்க. அது அவங்களுக்கு உங்களுக்கு பிரச்சனை. I will close and I can walk out. Causation. You come into existence because you have a cause. You have a reason to come. Once that reason is, once the cause that which created this existence is satisfied, automatically what will happen?
Dissolves.
Dissolves.
That also dissolves.
Dissolves. What is the time I have given for this? In the causation, what is the time I have given? 7:45 to 9. Yeah. See, that is why anybody who sticks to time, you will be very much in love with that person. You know, he is allowing you to quickly go to the other desire. You will get very angry with me because I will not allow you to quickly go to the other desire. 9 மணினா 9:05 9:10 9:15 there is a built up. என்ன இவர் முடிக்க கூட மாட்டேன்றாரு. அப்ப அடுத்த கிளாஸ்ல ஏந்திரிச்சு போனா அடுத்த கிளாஸ்ல சட்டிலா வாழைப்பத்துல ஊசி ஏத்துறாரு மாதிரி he is poking at us also. Best thing is what? Stop coming. Permanent solution. Stop coming when you attain moksha. Are you able to follow, Mohan?
Yes, sir.
Bound by causation. Seriya?
Thank you.
Yeah. Knowledge disappears means we become knowledge itself. Correct?
Yes, sir. That was the doubt. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes. That I cleared it already. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it is not the words, but it is the becoming.
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. அடுத்தது opportunity gold. Oh, okay. Oh, இதெல்லாம் எனக்கு right. Okay, Sriram. So, according to what you are saying, once we negate the dependent existence of mithya by asserting the basis for it, this would mean that one who's doing this exercise constantly is never fully immersed in any experience. And yet, we say only a spiritually evolved soul fully experiences an experience. How is this statement true? And isn't it a contradiction according to this principle? It is no contradiction because only an objective person can fully immerse in that experience. Only a person of objectivity can fully be in an experience. A person lacking objectivity means what? Okay, what is lack of objectivity? Body in one place, mind all over the place, is not fully immersed in experience. Who is an objective person? An objective person is one who got extreme discipline, extreme control. Even to use the word control is very, again, lack of words only we have to use the word control. He is in that experience because the mind naturally doesn't go anywhere else. Since the mind by default doesn't go anywhere else, he is fully in that experience. In the ordinary person's case, in any experience of yours, you can never be fully immersed in any experience. Why you can never be fully immersed in any experience? Because the mind is
in the past, or is
the mind is always in the past or in the future, or it divides itself into many. Therefore, the ordinary person can never experience anything fully. The spiritually evolved person alone experiences everything because he is in it fully. Are you able to follow?
One doubt, Ravindranath. But if he's in it fully, then how? But there's one portion of the brain that is always telling him, "This is not true. This is not true. This is an illusion. This is an illusion." One portion of his brain is always not in it, but yet you say he's objective and fully in it. And the contradiction na enakku light ah puriyala. How does he do?
The contradiction here is, as long as the equipments are there, it will have to go through experiences. As long as I have these instruments, I am living as an individual, I necessarily have to go through experiences and I necessarily have to perform actions.
Right.
As I am doing, as I am experiencing, as I am performing actions, as I am going through very many experiences, what happens is, one part of it is fully aware that not to get not to get involved in it, not to get carried away by it, not to linger in it. Not to get carried away, not to get involved, because see, in the way that we use the word involvement in the negative sense, because nowadays the word involvement means positive.
Correct.
Because whatever we say, you have to do it with involvement, we say. Yeah.
Correct.
So we are using the word involvement in the negative sense. Getting carried away. Getting carried away means what? Agitated, frustrated, result oriented, affected by that. All this is what we mean by involvement. The very anxiety for the result, the very fear that it should not fail, the fear that it should not fail, the anxiety that it should come right. Idallan the involvement in action. This is what we call as involvement in action. Now, all this will happen to an ignorant person. A spiritually evolved person also will be doing the same action. But what is the difference? The difference is this. Formula mari solra. Sincere, cheerful, எல்லாத்துக்கும் கம்மா போட்டுக்கோங்க. அல்லது +++ னு போட்டுக்கலாம். Sincere, cheerful, consistent, instrument. Again I repeat the 4 words. +++ equals an evolved person. அப்படி போட்டுக்கோங்க. Sincere, sincerely dedicated ன்றது வந்துடுறதுங்க. I am not sincere dedicated, I am not using sincere plus என்னப்பா சொன்ன?
Cheerful.
Cheerful plus consistent, dhriti, plus instrument equals an evolved soul.
Okay.
Involvement means lacking in any one of these 4.
Okay.
Correct. Beautiful. Formula mari போட்டு வந்துருது. Yes, excellent. Oh my god, you type so fast. எனக்கு இது டைப் பண்றதுக்கு 5 நிமிஷம் ஆகும். ஒரு ஃபிங்கரா நான் அதை தேடி கண்டுபிடிக்கிறதுக்குள்ள. Very good. Sincere plus cheerful plus consistent plus instrument equals evolved soul. He understands that he is only an instrument doing that action. Therefore, he doesn't have that fear of failure. Fear of failure doesn't mean he doesn't, ஏதோ நம்ம தமிழ்ல சொல்ல மாதிரி ஏனோ தானோ he doesn't do. He does it with the sincerity that he brings in is extraordinary. And the very sincerity doesn't take away, the very sincerity doesn't sit on him as a burden. That is why they say, I am sincere, concentrate பண்ணிருக்க, don't disturb me. He's cheerful. He doesn't get that easily perturbed. Cheerful he is. Important factor is the dhriti. We are all sincere, cheerful, instrument in pockets. And evolved soul is dhriti, is consistent in that. How he gotten into that stage is by this jnana abhyasa. So what we are talking about in this verse is the practice. What you are talking about is the effect of this practice. So as a person who has done all these practices and evolved, how he will be, whatsoever he does it so perfectly. Example, Mahabharathatla, that story. Krishna arranging chapels. Krishna in charge of chapel stand. They do the Rajasuya Yajna, they did. Rajasuya Yajna is one of the biggest yajna that a person can possibly do is Rajasuya Yajna, and Yudhishthira was doing that. And one person can't do, you have to allocate jobs to everybody. All jobs were allocated. One person was left behind and one job was left behind. What is that job? Chapel stand. And who's the person left behind? Krishna. So Krishna said, I will take care of the chapel stand. I will take care of the chapel stand. And when he took care of the chapel stand, The entire crowd stood there. Nobody came into the Yajnashala because nobody has arranged the chappals so beautifully the way that he has arranged. The Mahabharata battlefield, you see in the middle of the battlefield, when Arjuna is so hell-bent on killing Jayadratha, Krishna takes the horses to drink water. The middle of the battlefield. Extraordinary, you know, the extraordinary is he. Another situation. Kunti came to visit the 8th day of the battle, night. Kunti came to visit everybody. When Kunti came to visit everybody, everybody was there, but Krishna was walking in very late. Why? Because car driver, no. The car driver's job is to wash the car also, no? So what Krishna used to do at the end of the day, Arjuna will go back. Krishna will take the horses to the river, scrub them, give them a nice massage, feed them, and then only he will come and he will have his food. So Kunti was waiting for Krishna to come, and Krishna came. And when Krishna came, he was wearing that what we call as Angavastra, no? Apumari 3-piece suit just one towel. He was wrapping one towel on top. So when he came to eat, he unwrapped himself of the towel. And both the shoulder blades of Krishna, who is wounded, bleeding, wounded. Kunti saw that and she started crying. She said, Krishna, why this happened to you? Why this happened to you? Who caused this to you? Krishna laughs and says, ask your son. Arjuna is the cause for this. Your son only did this to me. Ask your son. Kunti said, what does it mean? How did Arjuna cause this? See, Arjuna only decides where the chariot should go, no? Krishna doesn't decide. It is Arjuna that decides. Right la pona, left la pona. Huh? Now, in the middle of the battle, he can't say right, left, Allah. So what is the arrangement is this. If the chariot has to be turned to the right, Arjuna will press the right shoulder of Krishna with his feet. If the chariot has to turn left, Arjuna will press the left shoulder blade. So constantly mati press pannine irundha, and he is wearing spiked shoes. No, battlefield football velada pogumbodhu you have to wear spikes, no? So battlefield also he was wearing shoes with spikes. Both the shoulder, and Krishna is a perfect instrument. Why I am giving all these stories is to explain how he is a perfect instrument. So whatsoever he did it. Now as a comparison, when Duryodhana asked Salya to be the charioteer for Karna, Salya said that Suta Putra will touch me with his feet. How can I stand that, he said. Are you able to follow the difference? Same Duryodhana, when Duryodhana asked Salya, please be the charioteer for, because Arjuna has a wonderful charioteer, Krishna. Karna also needs a equivalent person. Why don't you be the charioteer? Because for Salya is the best in chariotry. Salya is the best in that. Not Krishna. Salya is the best. So Duryodhana, for which Salya said, Duryodhana, how can you ask me this? Karna will, with his feet, he will say right, left. He couldn't convert himself to be an instrument. Therefore, we say Salya is a very intelligent charioteer, but he is not an evolved soul. Why? Because he couldn't convert himself into an instrument. A wise one is sincere, cheerful, consistent, but have this attitude that I am only an instrument. As an instrument, if this is what I need to do, I
I should
I
just do
ought to do this. That person alone can experience everything fully. The way Krishna would have enjoyed charioteering, nobody would have enjoyed. The way Krishna have enjoyed massaging the horses and watering the horses and feeding them, even Nakula would not have enjoyed. For Nakula is supposed to be the best in that. One person, that's why we can place Krishna on one side and all the other on the rest side. All the others on the other side. Because everybody is individually best, but they couldn't have this attitude of instrument. Krishna became the best because he had the attitude of instrument. He had the attitude of instrument. Therefore, to answer the first question, there is no contradiction according to this principle. When you are practicing it, there will be a difficulty. Now, in this verse, we spoke about the practice. In the example of a Krishna, Krishna is not practicing it. He is already evolved. That evolution is because of this previous practice. சரியா?
Okay.
Now I'll take up the second part of the second question, which is the continuity. Another question to this is, once he or she practices this principle of negation and assertion, he or she will naturally become detached. Correct. The average Joya,
Like Joe. Average Joe, the average person.
The average Joe. Okay. Oh, average Joe. Okay.
The normal person.
Okay. Normal person. Average Joe. Normal person. You have to say. Yeah. Now average Joe. So we should say average Joe. The average. Don't say average Joe. There is another Joe from this class who is going to see this recording. He is going to get very angry at me. The average Joe, however, is attached. And how does one act in a detachedly attached manner? Which is what is oftentimes required by you. Correct. It is the exact requirement. You have to exactly, this is exact words that Krishna uses in the Bhagavad Gita. Technique of Vedanta Arjuna, he says, you act as though you are attached, but you are not attached. You act as though you are possessed with action. You act as though you are obsessed with action, but remain detached. Exact advice. But at this point, is it an act or actual way through which a spiritual person relates to the world? How does he do it when you know it's fake? Don't you naturally lose interest in it? Correct. In the initial stages of this practice, you know that you are faking it. You know that you are faking it, and there will be a loss of interest in doing it. Not only loss of interest, there will be an anger doing it. Not only you will lose interest, after a while, you will get very angry that you have to do it itself. Now, what is the natural way of evolving? The natural way of evolving is what the process of negation and assertion is, which is a time-consuming one.
Right.
It's a time-consuming project. It's a time-consuming thing. But then you need to learn this, because this is what this learning is what is going to come with you across janmas. That's why it is so time consuming. Why it is so time consuming is because this technique is what is going to come with you many janmas. It is not only you learn this now and then you die, you lose it. Since it is a technique that has that much of longevity to it till you realize the self, the time taken also will be slightly longer. But then we will call it as a long time, but we understand it because of the longevity to it, it needs that much of grounding. Like the rose plant gives, you plant the rose, in 3rd month, it starts giving flowers. but the longevity of the rose is few hours. You plant the rosewood tree, you plant the seed of the rosewood tree. It will take 500 years for the tree to come, but you make a furniture out of that, it will stay for another 1500 years. Because of the longevity of it, it would take that much time. So when you understand it in comparison to the longevity of the time, it would not mean as it is taking a long time. You will not say that. Because since it has that much of longevity, it requires that much of time. The cause and effect relationship. Are you able to follow?
Yeah.
Therefore, you will not lose interest in it if you understand it in this way. Now, most of the people who say all this don't explain it in the way that I'm explaining. Therefore, naturally they lose.
Interest.
Naturally, there will be a loss of. There will be a loss of interest. Now, you will not lose your interest once you understand. What is it that you understand? It is a wisdom, that is the longevity of it is extremely high. It's going to be far-fetched. It is going to stay with me till I attain liberation. It is going to stay with me, means it is going to cut across very many janmas also. Since it is going to cut across very many janmas, this detachment is going to come with me for very many janmas. I cannot have any quick fix method. Or if I bring in a quick fix method, it will be like the rose plant. It will come out, it is beautiful, but also withers away. By the evening, it will wither away. Yeah. Orchids, we made something called orchids where we thought at least it will stay for 3-4 weeks. Plastic rose, it will stay for forever. But you know it is a fake. That's what you are saying. But you know that it is a fake. How to have it? It means I should not get disillusioned very fast. I should be able to continue this practice. I will not get disillusioned, and I can continue this practice only if I understand that it is going to continue with me for. It is going to cut across very many janmas. Since it is going to cut across very many janmas and going to stay with me for that much time, it would take that required time. I won't say long time or less time or more time. I would take that required. It would take that required time. In that required time, a person should not get disillusioned. How they will not get disillusioned? The logic and reason of Vedanta supports. Whenever the disillusionment of the mind comes, immediately you can pull yourself up and say, that which is going to stay with me for a very long time, how can it come very fast? That which is going to stay with me for a very long time, how can it come faster? How can I fast track it? How can I make it?
So Aravind uncle,
it is not possible. Therefore, the person will not get disillusioned and he will continue.
What my question was, Aravind uncle, is not my disillusionment with the practice. My disillusionment with the world. How do I, when I know it is kind of fake, and I slowly get disillusioned with the fact that it is fake, how do I still operate in that world with that?
Correct.
With that mindset? Not my spiritual practice. I understand my spiritual practice will take me a long way.
Correct.
But the spiritual practice should be applied in the ground of the world.
Yes.
The playground of the world. How do I not lose? How do I not get disillusioned with the world?
Yes. How do I? It means I should have had that much of net practice. I should have done that much of wall practice. For me to run across the court and take the ball, I should have done that much of ball practice and preparation. It is that preparation that would help me to function there. So what you can use is wherever you are failing, you can understand that you have not yet sufficiently
Mastered it.
practiced.
Understood.
So you can go back to Manana. So that you can go back to Shravana and Manana.
Hmm.
So it is the practice of wall practice. It is the net practice. How much you have practiced there is what? How much you have practiced there is what shows off when you are in actual world. You should not practice in the actual world. It will be a disaster. Yeah. Net practice எல்லாம் பண்ணி ball நல்லா பார்க்க கத்துக்கிறதுக்கு அப்புறம் தான் I have to go into the pitch. இல்ல நான் டைரக்டா அங்கேயே போய் பாத்துக்கிறேன் அப்படின்னா இல்லையா?
True.
We used to have, even now we say Vivian Richards. He is one of the best player. என்னத்துக்கு யார் bowling போட்டாலும் கேப் தான். He will not wear an helmet. We used to debate about that very long. Even today we will debate about that. Even today when we friends meet, we still talk about it. How that fellow, either he has to be so dumb not to understand, either he has to be so dumb not to understand what he is getting into, or he is so
confident.
If he is so dumb, definitely his skull would have been cracked quite a few times. Definitely his skull would have been cracked quite a few times. And that fellow didn't even, the ball never hit him even once the ball didn't hit him. Why? Net practice la yaarellam bowling?
Joel Garner.
Joel Garner, Michael Holding, Malcolm Marshall, net practice la face பண்ணிட்டு வந்த ஆளுக்கு he will be like Krishna. Yeah, I always used to think Krishna cricket arna Richards மாதிரி இருக்கும். ஹெல்மெட்டே போட்டுக்காம he will come. Yeah, he will walk just with that. Are you able to follow?
Yeah.
It's because of the practice. Now, how I am able to apply in the playground shows how much I have prepared. Avladha. That is why in the initial stages of life itself, we say, spend some time in practicing this also. Spend some time in gaining this knowledge and gather some strength and then get into life. So that you will be like, Lily போட்டாலும் சரி, Thompson போட்டாலும் சரி, how much they all tried to hit him. How much they tried to hit him. How much Hadley will try to hit him. How much Imran Khan will want to break his face. But that fellow will not have a problem because of the practice that he has already done. Like that. I'm just giving a comparison. Are you able to follow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Think in this way. Okay?
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah. Lakshmi Ramu. To answer Sriram question on disillusionment, can we say that Karmanyevadikarasya helps? Can we say that net practice is practicing the sloka on Bhagavad Gita chapter 2, sloka 47? Correct. Karmanyevadikarasya mapaleshu kadachana. Correct.
Okay.
In the class, எனக்கு நிறைய prompts கிடைச்சுட்டே இருக்கும். Yeah. Everybody will keep giving me prompts. I don't know why. I don't know. They think that மறந்துட்டேன் நினைச்சிட்டா போல இருக்கு. They keep giving me prompts. Guides. இந்த verse, அந்த verse, இந்த word.
No. I don't mean that.
Karmanyevadikaraste mapaleshu kadachana is talking about what? It's not talking about this answer. It's a wrong connection. That's why I didn't refer it. It is a wrong connection. How do I say it is a wrong connection? Is because Karmani eva adhikara instrument. Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. What is that verse talking about? That verse is talking about
Giving the results to Bhagwan. You just do the action and give the results to them. Don't expect the results out there. Yeah.
instrument.
Yeah.
Can you act like an instrument is the challenge there. Acting like an instrument means I am not the doer, result doesn't belongs to me, I have no right over the result. Can you act like an, if you are able to act like an instrument, karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala hetur bhuhu ma te sangosva karmani. If you can act like an instrument, which is what karma yoga is all about, you attain qualification for meditation is the thought flow there. Now what Sriram is asking is slightly different from that. Even though in a generalized way you can bring in all those verses, but I am trying to answer specifically to I'm trying to answer in a specific way to is it okay?
Yeah. And this is actually to correct my understanding. That's why not
Yes.
to prompt you. Sorry. Don't
I know,
take
I'm
it
just
that
joking,
way.
ma, I know that. I know you are
You know,
not
because
prompting
I
me,
was
I know that. Yeah.
because I was thinking instrument. See, there's a formula, right? You gave the 4 steps.
இதுதான்
So,
instant
maybe this will help.
கர்த்தத்வான்றதுக்கு எக்ஸாம்பிள் இதுதான். Yeah, I said as a
Okay.
joke, people are prompting me immediately. Oh no sir, sorry sir, I didn't do this. This is the instant kartrutvaன்றது இதுதான். I know that. It's just to lighten up the conversation.
Okay.
இல்ல ஏன்னா 1.5 மணி நேரமா சத்து அசத்துன்னு பேசிருந்தா யாராவது ஒருத்தர் வச்சிருந்தானே நான் லைட் அப் பண்ண வேண்டும். சரியா?
Okay.
Lakshmi.
So, yeah.
With
thanks.
this we conclude for today, and we continue next session into the next topic, verse number
Okay.
6.
Okay. Thank you so much.